The ASPCA is a truly wonderful organization. It has been around for well over 100 years, with its birth beginning in 1866. Its founder, Henry Burr, was a diplomat in Russia. He was an American diplomat in Russia, and he had experienced tons of animal injustice from America. America in the 1800s, late 1800s, was a terrible place for animals. Horses were regularly beaten. Dog fights and other animal fights were incredibly common and incredibly popular forms of entertainment, similar to the gladiator fights and how they would release the animals to fight the gladiators and other animals in the arena. Many would release animals simply to fight, and there was gambling rings, and it was the whole economy around animal fights. While in Russia, he observed a carriage driver beating a horse that had fallen down, and he stepped in to take an action. He stepped in to protect that horse. He stepped in to save that horse's life. From there, he realized that he could make a difference in the world. He realized that he could change the outcome of so many animals' lives, so many lives. He could reach so many lives through his goals, through his talents, through his new or idea for an organization. That idea became the ASPCA. After he observed that incident in Russia, he resigned his post as an American diplomat, and he began his work in New York. In 1912, they opened their first veterinary clinic in New York, where they were able to treat horses and they were able to treat animals of all kinds. They began making tons of scientific breakthroughs in medical science for animals. And around this time, many of his inventions were actually being used other places. Prior to the 1912 veterinary clinic, he had invented a sling for horses, which was being used in World War One. He did not intend for it to be used in World War One, but his invention went on to save others' lives. It was used to save the horses. It was used to save men. It was a incredible medical achievement. The ASPCA has always been dedicated to helping animals, helping the injustice. It's an incredibly lucrative business. Puppy mills and cat mills and breeding mills of all types are incredibly popular and incredibly lucrative. There's a huge market for these animals, and what makes that even more lucrative is that these small businesses, pet shop stores, will actually buy from these mills. These this this cycle, is one of the reasons that there is such a large population of homeless animals in America. Many of these supermarket stores will buy from these mills, and then the consumer will buy from these stores. However, instead of returning a dog to a shelter or caring for him in its entire life, far too often an animal will run away from home, or it will be abandoned by its owners, or it'll be in an abusive situation where it then escapes. From there, these animals go on and they become dangerous, and they become a, threatening to themselves because of the health risks that they have. Rabies is a very common disease that many wild dogs get. In addition to the health aspects and the abusive aspects of these puppy mills, the puppy mills themselves are terrible. Terrible for the animals, terrible for all of the creatures that are bred in here. The videos that are shown from when these animals are rescued from the puppy mills or breeding mills are astonishing. The situations that they're living in. And that's why the ASPCA has gone through and they have made, in I believe it was 2013, they made a contract that started a campaign with the NYPD to persecute breeding mills. They would go in and they would save these animals, and they would actually take these dangerous people who were abusing these creatures off the streets, so that way it would prevent the circulation to continue. They were disrupting an entire economy. They've, circling back, done incredible work for as I said, well over 100 years. And the founder, as I said, he was an inventor. He was able to invent a sling. After the invention of the sling, they made many medical uh, advancements. And as I said, in 1912 they opened their first veterinary clinic, although they also began using radiation in the treatment of cancer in animals. In 1941, they advanced the use of anesthesia in dogs that were having surgery. In 1961, they performed their first open heart surgery, as well as in 1973, they began their campaign on spaying and neutering these animals. That would produce less homeless animals. In 1993, they became the first national animal protection organization to use microchips, which is an incredibly ingenious method of finding and keeping these animals safe. This organization has been around for a long time. There, the need is to protect families as well as these animals. These animals, once they have been rehabilitated, go to loving families, wonderful families who love them and cherish them for the rest of their lives. The plan was all along to care for and protect these animals. And through the help of the donors, through the help of all the volunteers, they're able to make that plan a reality. They're able to go through and they're able to save all of these loving animals and give them the loving homes that they deserve after being unjustly treated. Thank y'all for coming out. Hope you have a great night.